Hello everyone, thank you for watching another episode, and today I'll be showing on how you can test and replace a clutch safety switch. This is very similar to a neutral safety switch that you find on your automatic transmission vehicles. In this case, we're dealing with a vehicle that has a clutch and a clutch pedal. So let me jump over to the vehicle and show you exactly on how you can find this switch. Now locating the switch is easy enough, obviously. It's going to be near the clutch pedal, and very often you have just a plastic cover that you need to remove. So in my case I have 3 fasteners, plastic, Phillips size fasteners. We'll remove these, and then I can remove this bottom plastic piece and get clear access to all of the connections. And if you ever break these, very often the local auto parts store will have these in stock. Typically it's just a massive kit. Of course, Amazon, another very good site. They're just plastic tabs. Okay, this pulls out like so. And then this is just the OBD right here. So right here there's just a tab. Push that in. Not every car has the OBD port right here. This is where the check engine light is on. This is where you plug in the scan tool. Okay, so once you have that cover removed and you look straight up, you may see 3 switches. So immediately take a look. Right here we have one switch, but it's connected to the brake pedal. So we don't have to worry about that. This is your stoplight switch. So in other words, when you depress the brake pedal, this switch tells the taillights to illuminate. And I have a separate video if you're curious on how to test those. Very simple. If you follow the clutch pedal, look straight up, you may immediately think this must be the switch. But if you look closely, let me see if I can get on camera, right here is another switch. So what's the difference? Well, this is the clutch, known as the clutch switch. Simply, just clutch switch. And this deals with the cruise control. So we're not dealing with this switch. We're dealing with the clutch safety switch, which is this guy right here. Now, how do I know that? Well, the quickest thing really is just look up the part for your vehicle and just find that matching part. And that's just the simplest thing you can do. So what I'm going to do, you can actually test these while they're still attached to the vehicle, but I'm going to remove it and test it on the bench. Now, if you look closely, I just marked a very, very small dot. A little small marking there of red paint. And that will tell me how far I have to put that fastener back on the vehicle. In my case, I know that this switch is working perfectly fine, so I want to reinstall it at the same position. Now, as you can imagine, I'm on my back and there's no way I can hold the camera, and you need 2 wrenches to do this correctly. So let me just show you the technique on exactly what I'm doing. Number 1, I did spray the threads here with PB Blaster, let it sit for a few minutes. Number 2 is you need 2 wrenches. The reason behind that, if you just use 1 wrench, in other words, in this case it's a 14 millimeter, but if you try to remove this fastener or this bolt, or this nut I should say, if you try to remove this nut, hold on, sorry, it's a really tough angle here, but if you try to remove this nut and you exert too much pressure, this bracket can rip off. It will certainly bend. So you don't want to do that. So you just place a wrench here, okay, on this, and you're going up, okay? This is to loosen it. And then on the opposite end, so my left hand is holding this wrench, my right hand is holding this one in place. There's another bolt right behind this, another nut. Hold on. There we go. So you're holding this in place with your right hand, and then with your left hand, you're just doing this, okay? Make sure you use both wrenches because, again, right here, this will bend on you, without a doubt. Okay, so the nut is removed. This comes out. There we go. And then you have a harness connector, which is right here. Again, I have to do this off camera. And then once you have that harness connector removed, this is your switch. And right here is how we'll test it with a multimeter. Now testing this switch, fortunately, is very, very simple. If you're familiar with my videos over the years, you know that I've always shown on how to test sensors and switches in the most simplistic way, and that's using a digital multimeter. This is $20. Many of you have these lying around in your garage. If you do not, I'll have a link in the description box below to our Amazon affiliate site. But that being said, take a look at this switch here, and you have two terminals. And all that you want to do is get a reading from this switch that will tell you if it's good or not. That's all you're doing here. Very, very simple. So, what you need to do is you have two leads, if you're not familiar with these again, a red lead and a black lead. Every multimeter has a positive and a negative lead. Does not matter which terminals you touch. All that you're doing is taking the red lead, touching it to one prong or one terminal, then the black lead goes to the second terminal. Okay? But it's a little hard because as you hold these leads to these terminals, you then have to press in this plunger. So what I always tend to do on any sensor switch is just use these alligator clips. Absolutely fantastic. They free up your hands. You don't have to go too crazy. So one clip I'll attach right there, and you can attach it to the red lead or the black lead. Doesn't make a difference. The second, we'll touch it to this terminal. Okay? That's all we're doing here. One terminal, the other terminal. So of course this goes to the black lead. That's it. Super simple. Now, let me back this up. Now I want to place it on the omega symbol, which is, again, it's the ohms or resistance. So we have nothing here, 0, and that's what you want because we're not pressing in the plunger. When you press down the clutch pedal, then this little plunger pushes in to the switch, and we should see a reading here. Don't go too crazy what the reading is. You just want to see a reading. And here we go. And right off the bat, we have roughly 12.5 mega ohms. So that tells us this is a very good switch, or it's a switch in good working condition. That's it. It's that simple. You don't need any sophisticated scan tools, nothing like that. Now if you do this test and the switch doesn't work, 15, 20 bucks, you'll be up and running for the most part. If you test the switch and you still have a problem, it could be the ignition switch, it could be a starter relay. There's a lot of different things it could be. And I do have a separate video showing step by step in simplistic terms on how you can test each component. So if you do need that help, I'll have a link in the description box below for you. But that's all it takes. So now I'm just going to reinstall the switch, and that's it. We'll be all set. Now regarding, I've had a lot of questions regarding, very quickly, the Subaru that we pulled the engine on. We're doing a head gasket on this vehicle. The heads are at a machine shop. I did have a question, how long does it take? Well, in my case, the guy's on vacation, so I hope to have it in a week, but everything is just, I wrapped everything up in cellophane so it doesn't get dirty, and this is what it looks like still. So once we get those heads back, we can rebuild it and a brand new gasket set and get this car up and running. So until then, thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.